This is Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
And I'm Gif.
Getting a little tricky there.
Yeah, you're.
All right. We are here to have some fun tonight. This is going to be fun. This is a creative episode. Creative juices are flowing. Also, this is going to close out our month too, Gifford. So we got to remember.
We need to remember to do that.
Close our yearbook when we get done.
Yes.
Just putting it out there.
Close it in a bit.
So a couple weeks ago, we did She's Out of My League and the Other Guys, and we had a great time with that one. And hopefully, it's not out yet. Hopefully, people are going to listen to it, and they're going to have comments, and they're going to tell us, things that they liked about it or about the movies. We're going to do it again tonight.
Mm-hmm.
We
mashup,
but we've got an even better one tonight as far as creativity, because those two matched up really well, right? They matched up.
They did.
They worked really well. Mm-hmm. Tonight we're going with what I would call opposites at first. You've got one was a flop, the other one was a giant hit.
Massive.
One is animated, the other was live action.
Yeah.
One is a hard R, nearly NC-17 versus, of course, family.
Yep.
One is more about a hero versus a villain, whereas the other one, you're focused on the villain, even though you kind of maybe root for him.
Mm-hmm.
But they really pair up well. There's a crossover actor. The names go together. We've got a nice catchy name for this episode, The Battle of Gru.
Mm-hmm.
The plots, the plans, the things that happen. There's a lot of stuff that as we looked at these two movies, we thought it would be fun to match them up. So we are going to talk about what, Gifford?
We are going to talk about MacGruber and Despicable Me. That's right. We're going to do it.
So we will start with our memories of watching these two movies, and we will go through it much like we've been doing recently. We also did this with Forrest Gump and Shawshank Redemption. If you missed that one, that's a really good one because those are really good movies.
Yes,
that was an Academy Award matchup. This one is just for fun,
for sure.
So let's start with MacGruber.
Yeah.
So this is a movie that, when it came out, I did not watch it. I thought it looked so stupid.
You along with everybody else.
Yeah. Based on an SNL sketch, which was kind of funny. I mean, we knew who MacGyver was. Some of us like MacGyver.
That show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, but I know you did. But you know of him. He's a pop culture guy. You know who MacGyver is, whether you watched it or not. But that sketch was the exact same thing every single time. And it was kind of stupid and short. And it's like, well, how are you going to make this into a movie? So I didn't really watch it, but I kept hearing about it. And we've got two really good friends. Their names are Dave, who's going to be on with us next week.
Yeah.
And Hummel, who's the pool boy from Preacher Row. And they love this movie, and they talk about it all the time. And I kept hearing about it over and over. And then I kept hearing, not just them, though. It's got the cult classic thing going where people are like rediscovering it, and it's considered really funny. And so finally, a couple years ago, I decided I got to watch it. And it was funny. But I don't really remember it too well going into this because I had just seen it the one time. I just know, okay, that was pretty funny. And I actually watched it with them. So Dave had us over to have a viewing of it. So that's my, without getting into if I like it a lot now or not yet, that's my memory of the movie and where I'm coming from first. How about you, Gif?
Well, my memory comes from last week.
Yeah.
Because I saw it for the first time last week. I will say this. I think this, much like The Room, is a great movie to watch with a group of friends.
Yes. Well, and in fact, I should back up. The night that Dave, our friend, had us over, we watched this as the pre-movie, and then we watched The Room, too.
Perfect.
That was a double feature that night.
Right in the perfect frame of mind.
There you go.
So, again, like Brad said, I was a fan of MacGyver. I watched that show, pretty much every week, really liked the premise of it and the guy that can come up with this stuff. And then I saw that this came out and, I was somewhat familiar with the skits and I'm like, there's no way this is a thing. I'm not going to.
How could it be?
Right. I'm not going to bother going to this. I didn't go to the movies anyway, but even still, came out on cable, I'm sure, highly edited if it is on cable. And just didn't really care to even watch it then. So my memory is from last week watching it. It is a little bit of a tougher watch by yourself. But like Brad said, he didn't see it. I didn't see it. This is a $10 million budget and $9.3 million box office.
It's the flop of the two.
Yes. But it has some redeeming qualities to it. I will say that.
Quite a few, I think, actually. I
Yeah.
mean, again, you got to know obviously you got to know what you're getting into. But if you do that, even watching it myself, like I had a lot of fun with it this time. I think the second time around maybe is better because that first time you have no idea what you're watching and it's stupid. But
Right.
once you get that through, then it's like, okay, now I can watch it again and I can laugh and I know what I'm going to watch. I think you'd probably like it more the next time you watch it.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah.
Let's go and do our facts about each back and forth. So MacGruber, you already mentioned, is a $10 million budget and made 9.3, so not a hit.
Yep.
And also not critically acclaimed either. 47% by critics, and pretty surprisingly to me, only 36 by audience. Not that it's low, because I wouldn't expect it. It's an acquired taste for sure. But that's really low, and lower again than the critics, which kind of surprises me. So I would think that this is one of those that over time, with the cult classic status it has, that those numbers would rise, but they have not.
Right.
And I just have two little quick fun facts about this. We'll get into the details when we go through our movies here, but we talked a lot about Cars 2 weeks ago. How we had the neon versus the what was the other one?
The neon,
the Prius, of course.
Yes.
So in this movie, Will Forte, MacGyver, has a Miata, and that was apparently his own Miata that he owned that was in this movie.
Correct.
And then, based on a real character and everything and being an SNL thing, this did also become a Pepsi advertising campaign, and Richard Dean Anderson, MacGyver himself, was in it and played his father, MacGruber's father. So good sense of humor by Richard Dean Anderson there. Who's from where? Isn't he from our state here, Minnesota?
Is he? I think he might be a Minnesota guy.
99% sure of that.
Yeah.
But, and you think, okay, well, MacGruber, this sounds like something that would make for a good commercial. Like a 30-second dumb spot that could be funny, that could work. But, you know what else was a commercial first? Ted Lasso. And that's going on its fourth season and a beloved, great TV show. So if you do it right, you can take that idea and stretch it out and get something out of it. And you might disagree that they did that successfully with this movie, but
right.
A lot of people like it, and I think it's pretty funny.
Richard Dean Anderson from Minneapolis.
Yes, there you go.
Minneapolis! One of the fun things was that that notebook that Piper finds with the KFBR 392 license plate in it.
Oh, yeah.
Will Forte actually did that. He wrote it out.
All the writing?
During downtime on set.
So this is the notebook of like a serial killer where it is just scribbles and the same thing over and over and over again. And it looks like it would probably take a couple of days to just sit there and do that.
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty impressive and method acting right there.
Yeah, it's kind of like from what's the Jack Nicholson, all work and no play makes Jack
The
a
Shining,
dull boy.
yes.
Shining, yes, kind of in that feeling. So yeah, it's Forte is known to be a guy that kind of pushes limits a little bit. So
and
something
he's
like
funny as hell too.
Yeah, and just writing something like that. And if you want to see something that he was in very, very, very recently, the latest episode of The Boys. There's an excellent scene that he is in along with Seth Rogen and the guy who plays McLovin. Very, very funny scene. Forte's great in it. I recommend. So
okay. Well, why don't you tell us about Despicable Me and your first time seeing that?
So Despicable Me, again, I've got young kids at this point, just like Brad. So a lot of the animated movies were I watched this on the DVD that I own, and I also found Despicable Me 2, Despicable Me 3, and the Minions movie in our stack.
It's funny. I forget. I'm sitting in front of my TV. I forget that I have 3 drawers full of DVDs. Like I looked up, I would have rented it, but it was on Peacock, so I had it. But I would have rented it. I didn't even cross my mind to open my drawer because I know we've got probably 2 or 3 Despicable Me's in there.
Well, and our copy was a little scratched.
Next time, remind me of that.
Yes, I will. But yeah, I mean, I watched this with the boys, and Just really got a kick out of it. I mean, Steve Carell is just great in it. We got our buddy, Marshall, but I like the story. I thought it was just such a cute story, touching, in the end. Um, and I honestly can't tell you how many times I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
It's
So
a
you did
lot
not see it in the
because
theater though. You watched it on DVD.
no, I did not. I didn't go to the theater with Sam for this one. No.
All right. Well, we did. I thought it looked really funny, but it's a kids movie. So, but we had a 4-year-old and
Mhm.
a 2-year-old, and my daughter, I think 2-year-old, did not go with. She was at grandma's, but we took Isaac, who was 4.5, and I think it was one of the first movies probably that he ever went to.
Mm, mhm.
But what was really cool, it was in 3D, and so
Oh.
there hadn't been a lot of 3D movies back out at this time, and so. He's looked so cute with the glasses on, and we're wearing the glasses and watching the movie. And it was really good 3D movie. Like there was a lot of
Mhm.
really I remembered during the credits at the end, there's just very obvious things that are made just for the 3D effects.
Right.
And so we sat there and
Like
just
the
and
little
all the way through the
karaoke thing
credits
and
just loved
yep.
it. But it was just great to see his reaction and how much fun he had. But it was hilarious. Like it's a movie that is funny for kids, but really funny for adults too.
Mhm.
And the 3D was cool and added to it as well. So I have a really, really nice memory of it. And then so my daughter didn't go, but she, loves these movies, and so I actually thought
Yep.
maybe this time I could get her to watch it with me. She had just rewatched all of them just recently, so she did not watch it with me.
Mhm.
But she loves Despicable Me, and she loves the Minions, and we had a Minion birthday party. So even though she wasn't there for this viewing, it became a big part of, like, the movies that our family likes and our kids loved.
Sure.
It's just a great, great
It
movie.
is. It is.
Very
Uh,
witty.
do you wanna go into some fun facts that we have with this movie?
You can tell me what you got here.
So, as Brad said, this was a huge success. So $69 million budget, brought in 543 million at the box office.
That's over $500 million.
Yes. So, and that was only good for ninth highest this year. So the top movies this year: Toy Story
Really?
3, number
Ninth?
one, ninth.
Oh,
So you got Toy Story 3 is number one, followed by Alice in Wonderland, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So kind of geared towards, a younger audience.
right.
Then you had Inception at 4. Fifth was Shrek Forever After. You've got kind of a tween movie here with Twilight Saga Eclipse, and then one from the MCU at Iron Man 2. Then eighth was Tangled, so
Yeah.
another animated film.
Mentioned all these last week too.
Yep, and then Despicable Me 9 and How to Train Your Dragon 10.
So a big year for family movies.
Huge year for
It was
animated
like
and
5 or
family
6
movies.
in there that were animated or like Harry Potter, more of a family like
Well,
theme.
animated alone, you got 1, 2, 3,
I think
4, 5.
yeah. So at least 6 of them would be considered like family movies. Although
For sure.
Deathly Hallows, that's getting into the darker Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
you're
But
right.
still,
Yep.
you're going to
So
have a
this
wider reach.
this franchise, Despicable Me, is the largest grossing animated franchise in the world.
Really?
Yes, it's not the each individual film isn't necessarily the highest, but um it is the highest among any of them. So
And there is a
um
new Minions movie
for
coming out
yeah,
next month too.
and that's for animated computer generated movies. So definitely the highest of any of them. It was nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature Film, which it lost to Toy Story 3.
And this
So
one was critically acclaimed. 80% of
mhm.
critics give this a positive review, and 83% of fans. Again, that seems low to me. I mean, 83 is
It
high,
does,
but
doesn't it?
like who would give as a fan? Like who would give this a negative review? I don't get it. It's weird.
I don't really understand it myself, but
Do you have some
um,
fun facts here?
yeah, I've also got the Minions were inspired by the Oompa Loompas, the Jawas from Star Wars, and then Chaplin and Buster Keaton, and then some Looney Tunes characters, including Bugs Bunny.
Ah,
So I can see the Jawas with the speech for sure. So yeah, I really like that. And then one of the other things that we love about this movie as a family, Courtney and I always get such a kick out of the minions. Obviously, are just so awesome and fun. But Paul, my younger son, had a speech delay when he was growing up, and he spoke in Minion. You really didn't understand what was, it wasn't like he spoke like a Minion, but it was like that. Like you'd maybe catch on to a little something he was trying to say, but for the most part, it was little blurbs and stuff that didn't really make any sense. So we always thought that was fun that, Paul spoke like a minion as we were, trying to get him help with his speech delay. It was something fun for us. So,
The voice that Steve Carell uses on here, which is very unique,
Mhm.
is described as a cross between Ricardo Montalban and Bela Lugosi. That's what he
Yeah.
was going for there.
Nailed it.
I've got a couple others here if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's this book that he reads to the girls, Sleepy Kittens, which was made, it was not a real book, but they made it into a real book after the movie.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Do
And
they
then
make
finally,
do they make the one that he reads at the end into a real book?
which one was
'Cause
that? Oh, the
that
one
was
that
the
about himself, yeah.
unicorn. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
And then the girls are in ballet and they are in Swan Lake, and the number on his ticket for Swan Lake is 022069, which is the date of the first moon landing, July 20th, 1969. And this movie is about him stealing the moon.
Stealing the moon. Well, one of the other things is this episode comes out on May 25th, and the dance recital is on May 26th.
Oh, how about that?
So that's a little fun.
All right. Well, let's just give a little background about the movies too, then. If you haven't seen them or forgot what they're about, we each wrote a little synopsis for each one.
Yes.
So I'll go with MacGruber first here again.
Mhm.
So MacGruber is a 3-minute SNL sketch stretched into a 90-minute film. Is it completely stupid? Yes. Does it make any sense? It does not. Is it for everyone? Most certainly not. But it is hilarious in all the ways it is trying to be, and it doesn't claim to be anything more. The short plot is MacGruber, a decorated hero, has been hiding for years, and the government wants him back to stop a terrorist who just so happens to be his arch nemesis. He bungles, he fails, he gets fired more than once, and he seemingly has no idea what he is doing. But in the end, of course, he succeeds, and it turns out most of his hunches were right all along.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
can
Despicable
dive into
Me.
Despicable Me. The business of a criminal mastermind is tough. Drew has had his successes. He's built his empire and made his mark. He employs an evil genius and uncountable minions. He's got a lair, cool vehicles, and awesome gadgets. But it's a what have you done for me lately kind of gambit, and Gru is having trouble securing funds for his latest caper to steal the moon. Despite his best efforts, a brash newcomer to the scene named Vector seems to foil him at every turn. Maybe child labor is what Gru needs to push past his competition as he reaches for new heights. Gru employs 3 unwitting orphans, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, to help carry out his plan. But as he gets to know these 3 rambunctious girls, he realizes the moon pales in comparison to the 3 bright stars he brought into his life.
Oh my goodness, how nice. So our first thing is we'll talk about, not that there's much to go with script wise here, but if you're going to pick the better script, the better story here, which one would you go with?
I would probably go Despicable Me. I feel like MacGruber kind of meanders here and there a little bit. Maybe has some cameos for cameos' sake. For example, when he puts his first team together, that whole thing. You could have just.
But it's setting up a pretty funny.
It's setting up a very funny, but it's a very long ways around to get to that punchline.
Some would say that makes it funnier,
right? So and that's the thing. I think you have kind of a tighter story from beginning to end in Despicable Me than what you have with MacGruber. So.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. What I do think, you mentioned this is the highest grossing franchise animated. this is one of those first movies that I felt really could compare and compete with Pixar. So that was what,
Mhm.
there were other movies, but like, I'm not sure there were any I remember that were like to this level. Like, this is like,
Right.
okay, not everything has to be Pixar. Like, these guys know what they're doing. And this
Mhm.
has nothing to do with the script, but I love the ridiculous proportions and the look, like how dumb
Yeah.
everybody looks. They're the weird bodies, the weird proportions,
Mhm.
the houses. I love it. I love the world they created there. But I'm actually going to pick MacGruber for this one
Okay.
because while Despicable Me probably is a better, tighter script, it's more formulaic, like it's what you would expect. Whereas MacGruber wins, I think, because it took a 90-second idea and it actually got a pretty funny movie out of it. And I think if you're able to do that, then I'm going to give you credit for that.
Okay.
So I will give the nod there um, for that reason.
Sure.
All right. All
All
right. We got the
right.
cast next. So we got a great cast in both. Of course, they're just voice actors in Despicable Me, but we'll start here with MacGruber. So we got Will Forte. Will Forte is amazing. I love him in most everything he's been in, and he can do serious too. He's in
Mhm.
Nebraska, and he can do lots of stuff. But in this movie, I just love how stupid he is.
Yeah.
Um, he's talking about, he tells the whole story of what happened. He says somebody is trying to frame me. I don't know who, and as he just told the whole story of why this guy would hate him, stuff like
Right.
that. I love that his only name is MacGruber. Even on his
Yep.
gravestone and at his wedding, it's just MacGruber, like Madonna.
Mhm.
There is no first or last.
Correct.
You got Kristen Wiig, and Kristen Wiig is gold. She is like
Oh my god.
the most bulletproof woman actress to me. Um, so she plays Vicky. I feel like we don't know a lot about her backstory because I'm not really
Nope.
sure why she's picked and why she would be expected to be helpful. She's very mousy, but she's perfect as always.
She's up for anything.
She is up for anything.
She's
You got Val Kilmer, who plays Dieter von Kunt, is Cunth, by the way.
Yes,
And
excellent name.
it's great to see Val Kilmer in like this
Oh my
dumb comedy movie playing along. And okay, I'll get back to that in a second here. You got Ryan Phillippe, who's also in
Mhm.
the movie. He plays the guy that
Piper.
MacGruber is supposed to take as his like right-hand man. Their leader in the military is Powers Booth.
Yes.
We also see Maya Rudolph, Chris Jericho. I think some of those other big guys are people that people know, but I don't really know them.
They're
Wrestlers or somebody
wrestlers.
probably.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So what's interesting about this cast is that they made this movie knowing this is going to be a stupid comedy, but they're playing it as more of a serious action movie. Like Ryan
Right.
Phillippe, you don't think of him for funny at all. Powers
No.
Booth is playing totally straight. Val Kilmer doesn't do a ton of comedy. Now he could, like real genius. You go way back. He could do it, but this is not what these guys are known for. And they're playing it as a serious action movie. Like
Yeah.
there's actually good effects. There's good things going on in it. So it's an interesting cast because it's not like your traditional who's who of funny comedy actors in this movie like we get in a lot of the movies, like we just had with the other guys, and She's Out of My
Mhm.
League. Those are just full of funny guys. This one, outside of Will Forte and Kristen Wiig, it's mostly like pretty serious actors.
Right. I
So,
completely agree with you. I give a ton of credit to those three for being in this type of movie because it's so dumb.
and they're
It's
good.
so juvenile. The whole thing is ridiculousness. And here you've got Phillippe, Kilmer, and Booth just awesome. I just give them such a ton of credit for being in this movie. It's
Yeah, and
awesome
Val
that they
Kilmer
would
is
do it.
great. If you're a
He
Val
is.
Kilmer fan, the movie might be worth it just for that then, because he's
Mhm.
really good.
He is. Yeah.
How about Despicable Me? You want to run through that cast?
Yes. Let me get over to that next. So of course we have Steve Carell as plays Gru. We have
What I love about
yeah.
him, sorry, is he's this
Good.
like evil mastermind supposed to be, but you'd want to keep a low profile. But his
Yeah.
car and his house are just the most ridiculously enormous. There's no low
Right.
profile. You'd think that people would know. Oh, obviously, that's the bad guy. We're gonna be looking for him. Pretty easy to
Well,
catch this
yeah.
guy, but
Well, he
it doesn't work
buzzes
out that way.
around hitting people with the freeze ray. Like when he goes to the bank, he like smashes all the cars out of the way so he can park. I mean, yeah, it's so obvious that he's the guy, the bad guy. It's just great. You got Jason Segel as Vector, and for the life of me, if I didn't know it was him, I would never get the voice. I can't
Really?
pick his voice out of that.
Oh,
So
I
Courtney
can.
says too. I'm like, no, because he's always kind of a little
Oh,
more
yeah.
quirky, and doing all that. So again, we love Jason Segel,
We
so
do.
we love having him in this one. We got Russell Brand as Dr. Nefario. He is excellent. The voice is perfect. Plays this curmudgeon of a
And
evil
we just talked
genius.
about him a couple months ago with Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I mean, this is
Mhm.
because he's really playing like a serious, like that's one I don't think you'd know who he was if you didn't know.
No, I don't think so. You might be able to throw a guess at it, but yeah. We have Julie Andrews. It
Yeah,
plays Gru's mom. Of course, she doesn't believe in anything that he ever does, and that's maybe one of the reasons he turned into this evil
that's the
mastermind is because he
backstory.
didn't. Yeah, he didn't have the support at home. Will Arnett plays Mr. Perkins.
This is the one I had no idea he had a voice in this movie. I don't recognize it at all, and I didn't even after I heard it. I barely could tell.
He's the banker, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the big,
the big, huge
big
banker
face,
guy.
big head guy.
Yep. We got Kristen Wiig plays Miss Hattie in this
Sh-
movie.
She's back, but yes, but what else does she do then?
She plays Lucy in the subsequent movies.
Yeah, interesting. She switched her
Um,
around.
and does Miss Hattie remind you of is it Edie McClurg
She
from
does. I didn't think of that until right now, but you nailed it. She looks like Edie McClurg,
Yes. The three girls, Margot, that's played by Miranda Cosgrove,
who
who
we talked about on School of Rock.
yes. And then Dana is it
I don't know
Geyer
the other
Ellis
two.
plays Edith, and Elise Fisher plays Agnes. Um, Jack McBriar plays the carnival barker. Danny McBride is in this as Fred McDade. I guess I don't remember who
These
that
are at the
is.
very beginning, I think, Danny McBride and Mindy Kaling, like in that Egypt scene where they're at the
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yes, she's the tourist mom. And then Rob Hubble is the anchor man who we talked about on in the
I
other
Love You Man.
guys.
There
Well,
too, yeah.
yep. And Ken Jeong is a talk show host in this. So there's a few other people, but obviously the big ones, is Steve Carell and Jason Segel and Brand, the adults for the most part. The girls do a very good job
Yes.
too.
So if we're gonna pick again one here, I will give all the credit in the world to the cast of my guy or MacGruber, like you did,
Mhm.
but I am gonna pick Despicable Me. Biggest reason is Steve Carell. He just takes that role, and it's what he does with that guy is awesome. The voice and
Mhm.
then having the voice, but showing that change in that heart, it comes across so well. He's great, but there's all these good people. But then they got like Julie Andrews. It's a pretty eclectic group of people,
It
not
is.
just. So I will go with Despicable Me here, but without taking away from the good work that the cast of MacGruber did.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I guess it
I
depends if
think
you
I
care
think
more
I
about
maybe
voice acting or real acting
yeah.
too.
See, I think I'm giving a little more credit to the live action actor.
There you go.
Because they need to not only emote with their voice and everything, but they have to do the actions and stuff too. So I'm kind of leaning more towards MacGruber on this one.
I like it. Well, and then I mean, you get Ryan Phillippe to do the thing he does at the end of the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're all bought in. They're all in. So
Yeah. That is so great when
I
he
think I probably would
does
take
the
them to.
distraction.
To me, Steve
Yeah.
Carell just is the difference maker for me.
Mhm.
But I mean, we're not giving out awards. We're just talking
No,
about which one we had to pick. So
right. Yeah.
all right.
All right.
So we've got scenes next, and so we've talked a little bit about what happens in these movies, but we'll get into some more details here. So let's
Yeah.
just keep the order with MacGruber first.
Yeah.
So one of the I'll just at the very beginning, I love it's the re-origin story. So they
Mhm.
go find MacGruber living in like another country with this long hair, and he's like a hippie, and like he's totally displaced himself from life.
It's kind of a throwback to the beginning of Rambo 3.
Oh, okay.
So
But then they bring him back, and he's got to be like become MacGruber again. And so he pulls off his clothes, or pulls him out of a casket that he unearths
at his gravesite.
At his gravesite, because he's supposed to be dead. And he pulls the clothes out, and then he shaves the mullet back into his hair. It's pretty funny, and it's a nice way to like take this new MacGruber guy and show us who he's really going to be. And I think that's pretty funny.
Yeah, and to add on to that, like in his file, I think this might be in the beginning credits. In the file, it includes all of his accolades, and he's a weapons expert, and also it lists him as a skilled lover.
Yeah, yes, of course.
That's in his official dossier. He is a skilled lover, and I love that he's a Navy SEAL, an Army Ranger, and a Green Beret.
He's everything,
but doesn't know how to fire a gun.
No, well, that's the great thing is he. Now, there's a great movie called Hacksaw Ridge. I think you've probably seen, right?
Yes,
true story of a guy who was a great Army veteran who refused to use a gun.
Conscientious.
There you go. Objector.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, we learn who he is right there. What's another scene that you wrote down?
Well, and just to get back to the conscientious objector thing, I don't think that's MacGruber because he loves nothing more than ripping throats.
Yes, throat rip. Going for the turkey.
I'm gonna go with the passcode mission. They're trying to get the passcodes. And like Vicky's Haas Bender, like disguise doesn't work for a half a second.
This is where she's in the coffee shop.
No, this is the next mission where they're in the warehouse. So it starts with the distraction.
Oh, right. She's supposed to look like him.
He's supposed to look like, but it starts with MacGruber doing the distraction.
Okay.
With him being naked with the stick, the celery stick.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
and then they go into this warehouse, and she's supposed to be Haas Bender. And as soon as she walks in, they're like, "That's not him!" And they just start shooting. and then poor Philippi, Piper has to fend all these guys off, shooting guns, and the whole time MacGruber's trying to mix up this grenade that he's gonna, work. And I know we're not doing lines yet, but I just love this line. "Can I use your gun? I need something to stir this with."
Well, and he does get it to work at the end, but he throws it out there and it's too late, and it's a it's like a firecracker. That's
little poof. Yeah, I mean that is just
like a fart in the wind.
Yes, it's such a great scene where he's such an idiot, and he takes credit like after his distraction works and Philippi kills all these guys. Like he takes credit for all of those kills. It was just I don't know. I think that scene is phenomenal.
So since you brought that one up, I want to bring up the one where she's dressed like MacGruber and she's supposed to take a tip. She's trying to take her tip back at a coffee shop because she's got the earpieces in and they're telling her what to do. And it becomes this thing where they are, there's a big gunfight that breaks out, and it's so loud in her ears that she's in this coffee shop. Nobody knows what's happening. And she's on the ground screaming and writhing around in pain from the noise. And everybody's just sitting there having their coffee, looking at her like, what is happening? Because it's all in her ears.
Right.
And this is where Kristen Wiig, like that is hilarious. And then she's crying afterwards and she just walks out. That is some fantastic acting. And it is so funny.
Well, and the fact that they're supposed to be backing her up, but they're 12 blocks away.
Yeah.
And like the bad guys don't even go there. They just go right to the van that they're in and start shooting it up. And it's just great. Cause again, it's, the culmination of that scene is he uses an Incredimop to put the van in gear and kill the guy.
Yes.
Philippi's throwing lead in the air like crazy trying to shoot him, but he uses an Incredimop. And so those two scenes are excellent. But again, it shows you like he's always willing to put her at maximum risk.
Yes, and she'll do it.
And she'll do it every time. She's not excited about it, but she will do it. So she is definitely up for anything.
I think maybe maybe the most famous scene, if there is one, would be, so he hates Piper, he's been paired up with Piper.
Yes.
He's supposed to be his number one man to help him on his mission, and he won't take him, and he tries to make his own team, but then he blows him up in a van.
Yes.
So he goes back eventually, and he begs to Piper to join him and join his team. And this is where you learn how pathetic MacGruber is.
Oh my!
And he offers to do something to him orally, and then he says he'll let him. I don't want to use all the words, but
Right.
it's very raunchy. And he's looking around. Just tell me what you want me to F. And then he starts crying. I don't know what I'm doing. And it's so funny, and it's so over the top though. This is where it's like, if you're not going to find that funny, then don't watch the movie. But it's so over the top, and it's so funny that it's just great.
Well, and then I just love how the Colonel comes in afterwards, and he's just sitting on the ground with his pants down, and looks at MacGruber like, "What in God's name?"
And then later in the movie, he offers to do that to him as well, because again, he has another breakdown.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I had one more, but do you have one more in there?
Let's see here. I liked the other shootout in the factory towards the end when he's not using a gun again. And Piper's, shooting left and right, trying to fend off all these guys. And he comes over. I rounded up this wrench, and I already had this bottle cap. So be on the lookout for one large brown egg. He's absolutely useless. And then Piper convinces him to use a gun, and he just absolutely loves using a gun.
But he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just shooting all over the place.
Doesn't have a clue, but he's having a blast shooting the gun.
I probably have it in my lines later when he says, like, why didn't I use this before? There's a good line in there.
Right, exactly.
There's lots of other good stuff here. He tells, first of all, it's not really a scene, but he drives this old Miata that he had from before, and he's got the old pull-out stereo.
Yes.
The anti-theft, you carry it with you stereo.
Yes.
I love that.
That's such a great gag, and he does it throughout the entire movie. It's just great.
And then there's a flashback to college where he tells us a story about how he actually stole Dieter von Kuntz's wife from him and got her pregnant while they were going to be married. But then he's like, he has no idea why Kunt hates him. He has no idea.
No idea. No, what it was she was already pregnant with Kunt's child, and he convinced her to abort the baby.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
I mean, it was one thing after another, and Piper just sitting there going, "Oh my God!"
But he doesn't get why he would want to kill him, and he doesn't have any enemies.
It's the worst.
My other one
I'll
put up. The other one I'll put up for best scene though is, I think we have to mention the sex scene. So, Mr. Broken Wings is playing, which is pretty good background music. But the grunting sounds that he makes while having sex I can't. Just think of little Forrest Gump. But then multiply it by 100 and extend it for like probably a full minute. But then it's even funnier because he feels so bad about cheating on his wife, who's dead, but he was never going to be with another woman. He goes to her grave. He imagines her ghost, and he has sex with her ghost, and he's making the noises again. And then they show like the grave digger person watching him, but then of course it's in his mind, so it's just showing him thrusting and making the noise. But we see the apparition outside of that. It is so over the top, but it's so funny.
Well, and I love it when he goes to the grave, and again, like you said, the noises, the grunts that he makes. So it's alternating him going, and her going, wow, wow.
So this is Maya Rudolph too, and so we get to hear her grunts and her noises, which double it up.
It's just and it's not even an excited wow, right? It's like wow, wow. It's like,
but
so
no, she's making
weird.
Yeah, it's good.
No, she's but
it's really deep. It's a deep she's.
Oh yeah, I suppose the last one I'll bring up is the final kill scene. Spoiler alert on Kunth. Where
this escalates.
Yeah, it escalates in a hurry. So he throws him off a cliff, then grabs the machine gun, shoots him on the way down. And then after he's hit the ground and splattered...
and he blows up in an explosion, too.
Yeah, he fires the grenade at him after he's already hit the ground and he's dead. And then to top it all off, we'll take a piss on
Yeah.
the corpse.
And by the way, this is at his wedding. So the entire audience and Kristen Wiig, his new wife, and the pastor and everybody, they're all watching him pee on the corpse down at the bottom of the cliff.
Oh my God.
All right.
It's
So there's a lot of
good.
really good ones there.
Yes. Yes.
All right. How about Despicable Me?
All right. So for the scenes there, I like the trying to break into Victor's house the first time, where he's foiled at every turn. I mean, he's getting punched in the face and the crotch.
Well,
He's
the
got
shark jumps up and eats him through the manhole.
Yes.
I just wrote that part. That's so funny. It's just a shark coming out of the street.
And he gets blown up by a million missiles, and it's just, I just love how he just gets foiled, over it, because Gru's got, he's got all his gadgets, but they're old and aged, right? And Vector's got all the slick, new, cool stuff, and it's just Gru's just not up to the challenge at that point in the movie. So I really loved him trying to break in.
I love the minions are usually in the lair and everything, but I love when we see the minions go out dressed as people and they go shopping, and you've got the baby and the mom and the dad, and of course they're speaking minion language.
Yes.
I just think that's hilarious. And the
Well, and that would
visuals
be
are great.
your 3D thing, right? When they're doing when the one minion's singing Copacabana, and it like
Yes.
looks at and it kind of comes out at you.
The 3D was
Yeah.
really good in this movie.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a fun scene because, yeah, like you say, why do you have to have them as a family, right? Like
Right.
that doesn't make any sense. But of course, they're doing the things that each person would do. Like the dad would go sit in the massage chair, and the baby would get into the pop and make a mess out of everything. I mean, it's just so well done. I like the scene where he does break into Victor's
With the cookie robots?
Yes, with the cookie robots was excellent, and him trying to get out of there with the two minions, with the shark, coming up at the floor,
When
and
he loses his pants and he's wearing happy face
Yes.
underwear, which is kind of surprising because he's supposed to be the evil guy.
right, and he gets grabbed by in the crotch at one point, which was hilarious. Yeah, so that was a pretty good one.
The rest of mine deal with him and the adopted daughters that he has. So when they go to Super Silly Funland and they play the carnival game, I think, and then he just shoots and blows the whole thing up because the carnival barker won't let them win, even though they should have. That's funny. And then she gets that unicorn, and
Yes,
and the girl, it's so fluffy.
it's so fluffy.
But they start to bond there, so it's you get to see the evil side, but also it's really nice scene.
Yeah. Well, and to add on to that, the bank presentation scene over Skype, which, becomes a huge meme because and then I sit on the toilet, and then the girls all, giggle out in the background. That's, a great scene too. And then it, like you say, with the girls, the one at the very end when he, shows them the new book that he's written.
That's
I
really
mean,
good.
that's just a tearjerker. Shows.
Well, and then I also wrote down when he reads before that, when he reads the Three Little Kittens, I just because of the line, and it's the way he speaks, it's so funny. But this is literature. A 2-year-old could write this,
right?
As he's reading the Three Little Kittens with the little fingers in the book there.
Right. Yep. Well, and then at the end, the reason he can't read the Three Little Kittens was because that book was accidentally destroyed maliciously.
Accidentally. Oh, I love his voice.
It is.
All right.
Good.
So, which has the better scenes? I'm going MacGruber here all the way. It depends if you're looking for funny or heartwarming, because obviously my favorite scenes in Despicable Me are the heartwarming things. And it's a lot of like little, like subtle, funny gags here and there, like in the break-ins. But to me, just going through the scenes with you right there and remembering the details, I got to go MacGruber. It's too funny.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I mean, those scenes tend to stick out, whereas, in these animated movies, they're cute scenes, but they kind of come and go quickly.
Mhm.
Usually with a little musical montage in there as well, to kind of move everything along. So I think with the MacGruber scenes, you have a minute to stew in the craziness of each scene. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
I'd
and,
tend to go
and
that
maybe
route.
some of them, some might say they're a little too long, but it gives you the chance to really, like, embrace the insanity.
Well, and like you said, this movie does not take itself seriously at all.
And they mean to be a stupid, like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's the stupider the better. That's what they're going for. And, if you
right.
like it, you like it. And if you don't, you're not going to like it. So,
Despite having some, really good effects and action kind of stuff in there, I mean, it's all for the joke,
yeah.
at the end of it.
But yeah,
So
there is some good action, though, too.
yeah.
All right, lines next.
Oh
I already
boy.
said one of them. So you said he likes to rip throats, and
Yeah.
he said, "Awesome, got another throat rip in. Might go for the turkey."
Go
After
for
he
the
ripped
turkey.
the throat on the second guy, looking,
Mhm.
and spoiler alert, he gets the turkey later too.
He does. Well, and I love how at that point Piper is like into it too. He's like, you go ahead.
Yeah,
You get that one. You're like
they
he's,
bond too, just like Gru and the girls. They bond too.
yes, for sure. I liked early on when they come to find him and they tell him what's going on with Kunt and MacGruber's line is, "Your God can't help you now, Jim, but I can." I mean, he's so full of himself. It's so good.
Well, and maybe the most well-known line, or one of them, would be, "So when it's time to work, it's time to go pound some cunt,"
Yeah.
which he says twice.
Yeah.
I
I
love too
like the
at
oh,
very beginning the song. If you're not listening to the song
yeah.
closely, the lyrics are kind of. But then MacGruber, he made a fucking movie. it's so stupid. It's not really a
Um,
line, but it's a funny
yeah.
words.
Um, I like after the van full of his team blows up and he runs towards this completely
Oh yes,
obliterated
this
van.
is one of my highlighted ones.
Tut, Tug,
You
you
okay?
guys okay? Oh, somebody's got to be in there.
Call 911.
911.
It's
I mean,
completely obliterated.
it's completely obliterated, but that voice that he has.
Tug.
Tut. Oh my God.
There's a wonderful interplay between him and one of those guys before that happens too. He makes these comments about their dick. I can't remember what he says, but you and your dick comments. And then MacGruber goes, "It's fun to say them." And the other guy goes, "It's fun to listen." And then MacGruber, "That's why I say them." I mean, it is the stupidest dialogue you could
Yes.
possibly write, but it's funny.
Yeah. Well, it's the delivery, right?
And it's the
it's
back and
excellent.
forth. It's like they keep one-upping each other with a stupider thing to say.
Right. What was I like after they kill one of the bad guys, Haas Bender, MacGruber goes, "Dead at the age of who gives a fuck?" Or no, who fucking cares? Maybe that's what it was.
Something like that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memes that me and my friends use all the time is just he comes pounding through the door, "I'm in," and just the meme, "I'm in." That's
Yes.
and if you know the meme, it's much funnier.
Yes. I don't know if it's a line used on K-Fan on Common Man's show, but I've heard it a million times on the radio, and it's, "There's a big difference between winging it and seeing what happens. Now let's see what happens."
Yeah, that's his plan. What's your plan? We're going to see what happens.
It sounds like you're just winging it. No, we're gonna see what happens.
He also tells Piper that it's okay that they didn't make any progress at the bad guys party because he just took an upper decker in the master bathroom. Which then he has to explain to Piper what that is. It's where you go in the tank instead of the
Yes.
bowl.
Yeah.
And leave it there.
Again, I love when he goes into the party. Like he's supposed to be in reconnaissance mode and be like, not stand out. And he just walks right in, just in this, white outfit, just strutting his stuff. And he comes up to the coat check person and she goes, "Can I take your coat?" And he goes, "No. Or your car stereo." He carried his damn car stereo.
He's got it in his hand.
He's got it in his hand. I mean, even when he like gets out, I think at like to talk to Piper. Piper's in a car, and he stops the car, gets out to talk to him on the road. He takes it out of his car, even though he's not going that far. I love that he takes it out every single time.
And I love it's the kind of thing that I think it's the commitment to the bit, to the joke. Like we're gonna make this joke, but then we're gonna make sure we do it every time.
Yes.
The line was just when he learns how to shoot a gun. This is so much better than those stupid gadgets I used to make.
Yes. Yep. One way at the end when they finally have the warhead, and they fought cunt, and he opens up the warhead and he goes, "There's like 1 million wires in here. I'm more of a 3-wire guy."
Yeah. But he does take out the key parts, so
yes, he takes care of what needs to be done.
All right, I think if I was going to pick the most important, the line to nominate, it's either going to be "Time to Go Pound Some Cunt." I think you got to say that one. Otherwise, I love the "Tug, you okay" line. Those are the two best ones. But
yes, that's the one I would probably go. Well, because there's one guy called Tut, and there's another guy called Tug.
Oh, I didn't even know.
So he's going Tut, Tug.
Oh, so it's two different. Okay? I wrote Tug twice on mine.
Nice.
All right, Despicable Me.
Yes. I'm going to go with one early on in the film. He runs into his neighbor, and he's complaining that his neighbor's dog, is leaving little bombs all over his yard. And the neighbor goes, "Dogs go wherever they want to." And then Gru goes, "Unless they're dead."
But then "I'm joking, but it is true."
But it is true. Yeah.
And for him, it's more the way he says things a lot than the line itself. I just love, like, "You got to be pulling on my leg."
Yeah.
And it's the delivery and that voice that he created, and the words being kind of out of place. It's so great.
Yes. Yep.
But I love, so Vector's got the shrink ray, and they're up in the air, and they're going, and he shrinks Gru's big ship, and they end up like kind of riding slowly on the top of it, and Vector flies by, and he goes, "Ugh, I hate that guy."
Right. Yes.
As he first kind of meets his new nemesis, Vector, and who this guy is.
Well, and I love that the thing is just tiny, but yet he can fit on top of it along with a couple minions.
And it's still flying and holding them up in the air.
They're still putting around. I like when he is laying down the ground rules, the house rules for the girls, and he's saying all of these things that they will not do. And in the end, "You will not sneeze or burp or fart."
"I have pins and needles that I am sitting on."
Yes.
My other favorite, light bulb is a big line in here, he says, but the girls at the end wanting to read, they say, "Pretty please," and he goes, "The physical appearance of the please makes no difference."
Yes. Yep. I like the interplay. There's 2 lines with him and Dr. Nefario, because he asks for cookie robots, but Dr. Nefario makes boogie robots. He goes, "I said cookie robots. Why are you so old?" And then the next one is, one of my favorite gags in the whole thing is Dr. Nefario comes up with a fart gun instead of a dart gun. I just think that's one of the best little gags in the whole movie.
You got any other lines here?
I like when Vector's trying to get away with the girls, and he yells at him, "Zip it, Happy Meal." I thought that was a fun one. And then, of course, when he's stranded on the moon at the end, and he looks at the Earth and then goes, "Oh, poop."
Yeah, that's good.
That's always a good one.
Well, again, I got to go MacGruber here. The line. I love the way Gru talks. I just love Gru in Despicable Me, but the lines themselves are funnier and better and more memorable in MacGruber. So,
well, and we're men of a certain age, and in 2010, this movie was geared, and still is geared towards adults, and there's a lot of Effenheimers and a lot of very crass lines and humor in this, and I think it's going to hit a little harder. Than a kid's movie. So I agree.
All right. Next up, Kristen Wiig is in both of these movies. So which one is the better use of Kristen Wiig? I'll let you go first.
Well, MacGruber.
Yeah, obviously.
Because she's in the movie more. I mean, Miss Hattie
is
good.
So good at Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. You mentioned she plays the other character in the further Despicable Me's, and that's a better
Yes,
character. Miss
correct.
Hattie's a really just kind of a straightforward, muted kind of. There's not much to showcase anything that she does there.
No,
And in MacGruber, you're showcasing all her best qualities, and I'm just
yeah.
picturing her crying on the floor of that coffee shop right now. It's too funny.
I'm picturing her as Hoss Bender with the fake mustache, and I just think it's great. Yeah, I
But
mean it to me. She's in so much more of the film. I mean, it's a way bigger
yeah,
deal.
I
Yeah.
know. But we had a crossover, so we had to compare them.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, both of these, Gru and MacGruber, are supposed to be some sort of like mastermind. Like MacGruber is supposed to be able to create and do anything he wants, and
Mhm.
Gru is supposed to be this evil villain mastermind. So neither one of them are very believable. Which one would you say, in your opinion, is the more believable mastermind? If you had to
Um,
have somebody help you out and do something, which one do you think you'd go to?
I would take the computer animated Gru
Okay.
for sure. He's got some skills. He knows what he's doing a little bit more. MacGruber is, I mean, as great as his dossier reads, he is kind of a fish out of water. He's not the brightest guy, and like they said, one of the great things they had going for him is that cunt thought he was dead, and he just announces to him
Yep.
immediately that here I am. It's like, oh my god. So yeah, I would say that MacGruber does more to hurt himself than Gru does.
I'm going to go with MacGruber on this one again here. I feel like Gru has ideas, but he doesn't do anything. Nefario and the minions do all the work. And
Yeah,
so
they do a lot of it. Yeah.
he's not that smart. He's smart enough to delegate his work.
Hmm.
And what I'm going with MacGruber on blind faith, that I'm believing the colonel went to this guy, and you mentioned the dossier. He's dumb now, but he must have been amazing. He must have been all those things in the past. And so if he truly was that guy at that time, then I'm going to go on faith that he can get it back again, even though we don't see it in this movie. Although he
Well,
does win.
see, I'll go the other way. Is I'm taking Gru because Gru is bringing with him all of the resources of the
I
minions and
suppose, yeah.
Dr. Nefario as well. So I think I have a Gru allows himself a supporting cast.
Yes.
So yeah.
All right. And then these are both comedies. So which is the
Yeah.
funnier Gru? Which one do you think is the funnier character, and however you want to define that?
Well, it's got to be MacGruber. I mean, Gru's great. I mean, but it's such understated humor. I think I mean,
Well,
just
so
his
I guess
little
which one do you like?
lines.
Understated or over the top?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I think funnier, I think more in your face. Kind of comedy. So I mean, I'd probably go MacGruber on this one.
I can't disagree with that either, but I did pick Gru, actually. I
Okay.
like that he balances the funniness with the heart.
Mhm.
And neither one of these characters are trying to be funny. That's the thing. Neither one of them think they're funny,
No.
but Gru can actually joke around with the girls and like can have that sense of humor, whereas MacGruber is so stupid that he can't even like see past anything. So we're splitting hairs obviously there, but
Right.
I'm going to go, we'll split that one down the middle. I'll go with Gru.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, good
All right. And
deal.
then our last category is the music.
Yes.
So there's a lot of music in these. There's a lot of great songs in MacGruber, actually. So
Mhm.
you have the detachable stereo. And so what we learned just by playing that is that MacGruber really loves yacht rock.
Yes.
So it starts with him playing Rosanna as soon as he gets in the car by Toto. And then it
Yep.
turns to Baker Street.
Yep.
And then later we have Steal Away, my favorite yacht rock song of all by Robbie. I forget his name now, but Steal Away is playing again later when he meets Piper. So you got a lot of yacht rock in there.
Yeah.
You get Eddie Money singing "Take Me Home Tonight" as he comes into the
Yep.
party at the Cunts. I already mentioned
Yep.
Mr. Broken Wings, so a lot of good
Broken
80s
Wings.
stuff.
Yep.
But then you have a non-80s song when he's getting all his household items together to like pound some cunt. They're playing the song "Woman" by Wolf Mother, which it sounds
Yes.
kind of like that song. I
Yep.
love that song, and it's great there.
Mhm. Yep.
You got "Love Is a Wonderful Thing" by Michael Bolton at the end.
I celebrate his entire catalog.
And then Vicky St. Elmo has her own song. If you've listened long enough, "Rock My Body" plays at the rest of the
Yes.
credits too
Yes.
by Kristen Wiig.
And there's some
So
interesting images in the end credits there.
yeah.
They
So
consummate
lots of
that
good
marriage
songs
on
in
the
this one, and some are
yeah.
really set up well with the action scenes or the
Mhm.
sex scenes or whatever we got going on. Did you
Yep.
write down your favorites from Despicable Me?
Yeah, I mean, starts off, I mean, you got Sweet Home Alabama. That's a banger right off the bat. But you only get, small clips of this. You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees. Copacabana was fun in the when they went to like Costco. Boogie Fever when he makes the boogie robots instead. And then Pharrell Williams, wrote the score and songs for this. So you had Fun, Fun, Fun and My Life in this. But I would say for these two movies, I'm going to be uh, leaning more towards MacGruber. I think they made the music is a big part of that character. And like you
Yes.
say, I mean, we've got the stereo is a big piece of the story, and
Well, and for such a low budget movie, I mean, I don't know how expensive these songs are, but these are well known
Mhm,
songs. So they put some money into at least getting some good songs in there.
mhm.
Um, I do love the Gru's like theme music with the whistling.
Yep.
Like I like that better than any of the other songs that are in Despicable Me. I love that.
The
But
song is "Despicable Me"
right.
in the beginning. Yeah. Yep.
But overall, MacGruber has the better song placements and more, and a bunch of '80s songs and great
Yep.
songs that I love in there. But it even has an original too with a ridiculous "Rock
With
My
the
Body" by Vicky
ridiculous.
St. Elmo.
Yes. Well, in the beginning song with the beginning credits, the MacGruber song, I
Oh
would
yeah,
guess
yeah.
would be original to
He made
the
a fucking
MacGruber.
movie. All right,
Uh,
so we compared them.
yeah.
Comparing the characters mostly is how we brought this together. They're
Yeah.
supposed to be some, and the names. But it
Mhm.
was fun to compare these opposite movies and find the similarities. I'm not going to pick one over the other. I mean, if you want a stupid comedy, you're going to watch MacGruber. If you want a family movie, you're going to watch Despicable Me. They're completely different.
Yep.
Um, but they both are. I love them, and I would watch MacGruber again too. I've grown to like it more as I watch it more. So,
The Battle of the Grooves was a fun exercise here.
are you picking one, or do you have any final thoughts there?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be more likely to watch Despicable Me over again. I've watched it I don't know how many times. I might, pop in, Despicable Me 2, after this and
Yeah,
watch that
great.
one because that one's awesome too, so and I love the Minions. The Minions kinda put everything over top. I always considered, like, the Madagascar movies, my
Oh, you
favorite part
love
were
that one. Yep.
were the penguins. The
Yep.
penguins were the best part of those movies. I think the Minions just add the icing on the cake for this movie.
Yep. All right. Well, another reason why these two movies we put together is they're supposed to be these evil masterminds, but they're both questionable in their smarts and what they come up with. So
Yes.
we are drafting what I think is a great draft tonight. I had a lot of
Mhm.
fun making my list.
Yep.
Characters who think they're smarter than they really are. And
Yep.
MacGruber and Gru would be two examples of what we're talking about here. These guys think they're smart, they think they can do no wrong, and yet they do a lot of wrong.
Yes.
So, all right. So I have first pick
Yep.
because Gifford went first 2 weeks ago. So I don't know where to start, but I think I got to start with a very similar character to these two. And he's in several movies in a series. I'm going to go with Dr. Evil, number one.
Very good.
And
Yep,
part of
I
his
had
problem
him
is,
down.
time passed and he doesn't understand anymore. But
Yep.
I don't know how smart he really was to start with. He was
No.
more in his mind a brilliant genius.
Yeah. All he wants is sharks with frickin' laser beams on their head. All right. I think I'm gonna go Michael Scott. Could
Oh,
we do
see,
TV?
yeah,
I'm hoping. Yeah.
I didn't
I'm
even
going
have
Michael
him
Scott.
down. So
And
Steve
I mean,
Carell.
in the early episodes, like that's when he was a lot more crass. They definitely softened him as they went, but he always thought he had a
Kind of a Gru type.
Yeah, really. Yeah, and he just always thought he had the best ideas, and they were always awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. I'm really wondering how much overlap we're going to have here because it's such a good category. I'm going to go with. I'm going to take one that I think you might have on your list, and I'm wondering if this might be one you were talking about.
Yeah.
From a TV show we love. I'm going to go with Barney Stinson.
I have him highlighted.
Yeah. So Barney thinks he knows everything in the playbook.
Yep.
I mean, but nobody makes more goofs than Barney Stinson along the way. So I'm going
Yep.
to pick him next.
All right. I think that's a good one, but this was the one I was thinking of, and I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't take him yet.
He's literally number 2 on my list, and I passed him over because I figured he's not as well known of a character.
I'm going Otto from A Fish Called Wanda. Don't call him stupid.
I am so happy you picked him because he was my number 2 after Dr. Evil.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I have Dr. Evil on my list. I have Barney Stinson highlighted on my list. So that's, we got a lot of good crossover here.
Yeah, and he even says, don't call me stupid.
Don't call me stupid.
All right. Well, then I'm going to go to a movie that we did a couple years ago. A guy that has great teeth, Pat Healy from There's Something About Mary.
I didn't even have that down.
Patrick R. Healy.
Oh, did I say butt plug? Spark plug? I meant butt plug.
Talk about
God, that's a great one.
Yeah. Thinks very highly of himself, and he's very
He
stupid.
certainly does. He certainly does. All right. I am going, I think we covered this movie. Pretty sure we covered this movie. It's a great underdog movie. I'm going with White Goodman from Dodgeball.
White Goodman, Ben Stiller.
He thinks he knows everything about everything.
Yeah, I didn't have him down, but that's a good one.
We should mate. I mean, date.
Mate. All right. I'm going to pick next from a show we did a few years ago, Arrested Development. I'm going to pick Job.
Yep.
And I think you could pick several characters probably from that show, but Job is definitely the crown jewel of idiots who thinks that he can do no wrong.
All right.
Or Gob.
Right. All right. I'm going to the guy who always thinks he's got the drop on everybody. I'm going Daffy Duck.
Oh my God, he was going to be my number 5 pick. I thought I would get him.
Are you kidding me?
That was going to be my next pick.
Oh my God.
I almost took him 4th, but I thought, well, he's not going to think of him. So I'm going to take Daffy 5th. That's awesome. Daffy Duck. I love it.
Pronoun trouble.
You might have just won the list there. All right. Well, I am going to go with another one that people that know the movie are going to know, and everybody should know, but he's not in the movie for a ton of time, but he makes his mark. He uses words the wrong way. He thinks he's the smartest person in the world. He gets beat by the man in black, and that is Vizzini. Inconceivable.
Yep. I've got him right there crossing them up.
In
we got
the
a
Princess
ton
Bride.
of crossover. Yep. And you could pick a few different characters from that one too.
Yeah, well, he's for sure
pick Humperdinck, but
the
Vizzini,
number 1.
Yep. Yeah, Vizzini.
Because that's all he does is talk about how smart he is, that he could never be bested.
All right.
I can't believe you took Daffy Duck. God.
I think I'm going to go with a guy who he's been in 3 different movies, and then his son also came out with a remake of that movie. I'm going with Frank Drebin from Naked Gun.
Good one. I didn't have him down either. Did I? No, I didn't. Yes,
I love
great
Frank.
choice. Okay.
All right.
Now our
what
next
are we
list.
starting our third list with?
So if this is still slightly in memory of Pete, I'm going to go with a baseball theme. I'm going to pick Nuke LaLoosh.
Oh, I didn't even have him down.
From Bull Durham.
How did I have
Meat.
Nuke down? Yes. All right. I think as much as I love Daffy Duck, I'm gonna go Foghorn Leghorn on this one because he always thinks he's the smartest guy in the chicken coop.
You're right. I didn't think of any other. I should have thought more harder because I love Foghorn Leghorn, and
Yep.
I just went
I
with
say,
Daffy
I
Duck.
say, I say.
All right. My next one then. I'm going to go to a very famous character in a show that we did about 3 years ago or so, George Costanza.
Nice.
Costanza.
Costanza. Excellent. All right. My last pick here on the third list, I'm gonna go Ron Burgundy.
Oh,
I believe
yeah.
I
Slipped my
believe it's
mind on that one, too.
I believe it's a soft J. I think it's yogging.
Whale's vagina.
Vagina.
All right. Well, then I am going to finish it off with one of our favorite movies of all time. It's lower on my list, but it's a good one. I'm going to Ellis from Die Hard.
Okay.
His overinflative sense of himself got himself killed.
Yes,
So
that's a great one. Excellent.
all right, well, we were definitely on the same page on a lot of those.
We
what
were.
What else did you have?
Well, I took MacGruber and Gru. I mean,
Yeah, I got
the
them
reason
down.
for our thing here. Biff Tannen from Back to the Future. I took the very punchable Walter Peck from Ghostbusters. Ricky Bobby, much like Ron Burgundy.
You
I
could
got
probably
Cliff.
take a whole bunch of Will Ferrell characters.
Yeah. I got Cliff Clavin.
Oh, good one, Cliff.
He
Didn't
always
even think of
thinks he
him.
knows what's happening. In our favorite movie, I took Lucky Day because he does think he knows what's going on most of the time.
Yeah, you could go with it, but yeah, he's the one he's their leader.
Yeah, he's the leader of those idiots. I went Buzz Lightyear. Doesn't think he's a toy. Thinks he's on top of everything.
I had Buzz Lightyear down.
I got a couple duos here. I got Randolph and Mortimer from Trading Places.
Oh, nice.
And I got Brennan and Dale from Step Brothers. And then I also have Harry and Marv from Home Alone.
Oh, that's a good one.
They definitely think they know what's going on.
All right.
And then a couple more. I got every Bond villain. I mean, they're at the end. They're
So like
always
Dr.
thwarted.
Evil.
Yep. And then the last one I got is Farmer Ted. Nothing but confidence with that guy.
Yeah. I have another baseball one, Roger Dorn from Major League.
Oh, yeah. Good one. Yep.
And Dwight Schrute. Oh, you took Michael Scott, but the guy I wrote down was Dwight Schrute.
Okay.
Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
That's a big one.
If you watch Only Murders in the Building, Martin Short's character Oliver Putnam is a great example of this. I'm surprised you didn't mention Sheldon Cooper. I mean, he is really smart.
He is the very, very smart.
But he doesn't have the common sense. Like,
no.
It's,
No, he couldn't get along in the real world without his friends.
And then I had Buzz and MacGruber and Gru. So that's everybody I had that has not yet been named.
Okay. So we did have a lot of overlap in there.
I wondered. I didn't know because, I'm just looking at kind of my own list of movies and I don't know what you're working off of. So
and Pat Healy was probably the biggest miss for me that you had.
Well, and I can't believe Otto is a great pick. But I figured, I won't win the vote if I pick Otto. And now you're going to win the vote anyway because you got Daffy Duck.
Yeah, he's quite despicable. So that was a really good category that you came up with there.
Thank you.
And please, folks out there listening,
please
add yours to the socials. Let us know who you have on your list.
I bet I bet you Derek from Canada can come up with a very good list.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't put us on there, we'll be in good shape. So with that, we are going to close the yearbook.
We are closing the yearbook on 2010.
Yeah, and
it's one of those newer years. Hopefully people listened. I know they like our older stuff better, but man, this was a fun month for us. So hopefully it got out there to other people too.
Hey, dude, this is 16 years old. So I mean,
I know it is, but people look at the 2000s, I think, and they think, oh, that's not that old, but
no,
because it's not the 80s.
So next month we're not going to necessarily be opening to a specific year.
We're going to open to a time frame, though.
Yes.
Early 90s. 1991, when music changed, till 1990. Well, technically 1994, although we already covered the 1994 album that we're going to be mentioning. 91 to 93. We're going to talk some early 90s rock, the music that was the soundtrack to our high school years. And like it or hate it, this is our stuff. And we're going to have a guest every week.
Yes, we've got some excellent guests coming on. Some that you know very well, and one that's just been on one other time.
Yes.
So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. So be sure to check that out. Come back with us next week and see what we got in store for you.
So next week we're starting it off with we're going chronologically. So the first album that came out that we're going to talk about is Pearl Jam's 10.
That's a big one.
Which has a great debut album. That's a great one for us to debut our month with, because we're going to also draft best debut albums. It's going to be a pretty awesome episode.
It's going to be sweet. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, Brad.
Hey, what?
Whose music is best listened to on a blah punk?
On a blah punk?
That's his stereo that he
is that
pulls out of his car.
Well, I figured that, but definitely Preacher Row. Then you can carry them around with you wherever you go.
Wherever you go. Absolutely. They're portable.
Yep.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Bye.